Welcome to Brûlée Media, where we explore the business strategies behind the brands you love. The Super Bowl generates more revenue in one day than most companies make in an entire year. But it wasn't always like this. The first Super Bowl in 1967, half-empty stadium, marching bands at halftime, it was just a football game. Then 1993 happened. Michael Jackson strategically delayed the halftime show for almost 2 minutes. 133.4 million people watched, and everything changed. And just recently, Bad Bunny took that stage, a full circle moment for what the Super Bowl has become in 2026. So grab your beverage, get comfortable, and let's talk about how the Super Bowl became America's biggest stage and what we can learn from it. The first Super Bowl was in 1967, and you know what? The stadium wasn't even full. There were over 30,000 empty seats. Halftime was mostly marching bands and baton twirlers. They even had two guys fly around the field in jetpacks. It sounds high tech, but back then it was just a 20-second stunt. It was fine, it was football, but it wasn't a cultural phenomenon. The game itself was great, don't get me wrong, but the experience, it wasn't something people outside of hardcore football fans were rushing home for. In fact, it was the only Super Bowl ever to broadcast on two different networks at the same time because they were still figuring out who owned it. There was no buzz. The NFL had a solid product, but they hadn't yet figured out how to make it unmissable for the person who didn't care about a first down. So picture this, it's 1993. The NFL has a problem. Ratings are slipping. People are tuning out during halftime. And then they did something bold. They booked Michael Jackson. But Michael didn't just show up and perform, he owned that stage. He stood completely still for almost a minute while the crowd lost their minds. And when he finally moved, 133 million people were watching. That performance didn't just entertain, it shifted something. The NFL realized that halftime didn't have to be filler. It could be the main event. It could give people who didn't care about football a reason to show up. And suddenly, the Super Bowl wasn't just for sports fans anymore. It was for everyone. Michael Jackson proved that if you wrap your product in emotion and spectacle, you don't just attract an audience, you create a movement.
2 days ahead of time, Michael called me at my house at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, I want to determine when the show starts. I have a concept for the beginning. And the cue was, I'm going to reach up and take my glasses off. And that's when you prepare to roll the trap. When he gets on the stage, he's like a general. He takes control. He takes command.
Michael, he always said, make them wait for it, You got to marinate in it. You got to sit with it. So you build anticipation. And that's what he did.
When you're directing this, every second is like an eternity. And I start to just shout, Michael, damn it, take your glasses off.
Take 5. Come on, Michael, do it. Stand by, VT Baker.
Here we go. He can't hear me. I'm just losing it.
Come on, Michael, do it, baby.
I'm kind of just shouting into my headset. All the camera guys can hear me.
Come on, Michael.
But that was the deal that I had made with him, and I was not going to jump the queue.
Roll, VT Baker. Ready, shot 2. Number 2. Shot 2. Here, 2 going to Tiger Wolf. Ready, 2. Take. Shot 13 on 5. That's 3. Ready, 4.
After Michael, everything changed. Prince, Beyoncé, Aerosmith. The halftime show was no longer a side quest. It became the ultimate benchmark of global brand power. J-Lo and Shakira. Usher, Rihanna, Coldplay, Kendrick Lamar, Bruno Mars, the biggest names in music all on that stage. But it wasn't just a halftime show. Brands caught on too. Budweiser gave us What's Up and those Clydesdales. Doritos crowdsourced their ads and turned fans into creators. But remember, brands aren't just paying millions for those 30 seconds. They're paying for the billions of earned media impressions and cultural relevance that happens on social media the next day. The game became a showcase where brands could take big swings and connect emotionally with over 100 million people at once. And those halftime moments, they became memes, cultural touchstones, Katy Perry's Left Shark, the wardrobe malfunction, moments that live on after the final whistle. The lesson: entertainment plus emotion equals cultural dominance. The NFL didn't just sell football, they sold an experience. So, what can we learn from this? Two things. Lesson one: don't just sell a product, create an experience. The NFL could have kept the Super Bowl as a championship game, but they realized people don't just buy what you do, they buy how you make them feel. For your business, are you just delivering a service or are you creating a moment your customers remember? A coffee shop isn't just selling lattes, it's selling the cozy corner where someone writes their novel. A boutique isn't just selling clothes, it's selling confidence and self expression. Ask yourself, what's the experience around my product? Because that's what people will talk about. Lesson 2: give people a reason to show up, even if they're not your core customer. Michael Jackson made sure that 133 million people didn't change the channel. He proved that the Super Bowl could capture an audience far beyond just hardcore sports fans. It became a destination for everyone. For your business, how can you expand your audience by adding something unexpected? A bookstore that hosts live music, a gym that offers community dinners, a salon that becomes a safe space for hard conversations. Know who understood this perfectly? Restoration Hardware. They sell furniture, but they added restaurants to their stores. Now people who weren't shopping at all are coming in for brunch, falling in love with the space, and suddenly they're buying that $3,000 coffee table. And actually, I did a whole video on how RH used this exact strategy to dominate. You can find the link to the RH video in the description below. You don't have to abandon your core product, but if you can wrap it in something that appeals to people outside of your usual circle, you create a movement, not just a customer base. Michael Jackson didn't just perform that night in 1993, he showed the NFL what the Super Bowl could be, a stage where culture, commerce, and emotion collide. And with Bad Bunny's performance, we just witnessed the next evolution: global, genre-bending, unapologetically bold. Here's the key takeaway: if you want to build something iconic, you have to give people a reason to care beyond the product itself. What's your favorite Super Bowl moment? Halftime, ad, or game? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Brûlée Media. There are so many more stories waiting for us. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.